Welcome, everybody, to the Freedom Hub. It is a great day to be an American.
Isn't it?
It's Christmas.
Absolutely. It is here this year.
That's right. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, mainly the political correctness of saying the words Merry Christmas.
Kyle,
I did it.
watch your
I
mouth.
did that. Watch out. Fact checkers on YouTube, beware. I said Merry Christmas.
You got to watch that.
That's right. We're also going to be talking about my own personal firearm, the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 9mm.
Can't wait to have you break that down for us.
That's right. We're going to do that right off the bat. And then I got a special treat for you. We're going to be talking about Aberlour 12 single malt scotch
Ooh, I like some scotch.
because it's Christmas and it's a special occasion.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So let's get right into the firearm review.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Freedom Hub. This is our segment where Mr. Daly here is going to show us the breakdown on his Smith & Wesson M2.0 9mm full-size handgun. Kyle, I'm very, very excited about this one.
Oh, me too.
How long have you owned this gun?
I have owned this since about mid-October of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been a little over 2 months.
You've taken it through the ringer, though, right?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. I think I'm just about to hit the 1,000-round mark.
Wow, it's almost his birthday.
That's right.
It's getting older.
Exactly. So let me pull it up here so the camera can see.
We are tucked behind our festivities here right now.
That's right. So we'll go ahead and lock the slide back.
Oh, there you go.
See, it is nice and unloaded.
That's the way we like to do things here. Safety first.
That's right. So this is the M&P M2.0 9mm full size.
Wow. So can you tell me why you went with the full size?
So this was going to be my first handgun.
Sure.
And I was really worried also about my wife. We were getting this for home defense.
Okay.
So because, 2020. And we wanted to have something that we could both feel very confident with
Sure.
in the hands. So something full size that could absorb a lot of that recoil because it was my first handgun.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely my wife's as well.
Okay.
She doesn't have a lot of shooting experience.
Sure.
She doesn't. I got a little bit through Boy Scouts and stuff, but as for her, not a lot at all. But surprisingly enough, naturally, a better shot than me.
That's not surprising. She's better at a lot of things.
She is, definitely.
Now, I do know that, from knowing you guys, there is a huge size difference in between you and your little lady.
Very, very true. I'm about 6'3" when I stand up straight, and she's about 5'1".
So tell me about your journey in finding a firearm that accommodated the both of you and why you selected this one.
Gotcha. So we did a lot of research.
Okay.
Of course, going through the usual channels, some of our fellow YouTubers, some of the experts that we swear by. And we also went out to the range. We found a range that had a couple different ones.
Okay.
And we rented them
Sure.
so we could try them out. And the first one we rented was the M&P, the Shield
Oh, okay.
2.0. So a little bit smaller. The Shield line is made specifically for concealed carry.
So would that be more of like a compact frame?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So a good deal smaller. Kind of hurt the hand a little bit.
Sure.
Just being honest. And neither her or I kind of felt comfortable after that.
Oh, wow. And it was just, you felt like you were swallowing up the grip, or?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Just with my grip and everything, I kind of felt crammed on it. I got large hands, and it was almost like it just wasn't made for me.
Okay.
Now, I know when you were talking last week about your Taurus,
Sure.
said the magazine has that little extra there on the bottom
Right.
that you really like. I'd really like it if Smith & Wesson did that.
Okay.
I think you can buy some third-party magazines for
sleeve.
it that have that. But as for what came with it, which was two 17-round magazines,
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good capacity.
they don't have that little extension, though.
Sure.
So we went with the full size.
Okay.
Next time we went, we rented the full size, and we were both more accurate, more comfortable. We were like, wow.
Why do you think that is? Just better grip on it, or was it the recoil management off of the longer barrel?
Both for me, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it didn't bite as much
Sure.
when you fired it. So I felt like I had a lot more control over it. And especially that kind of, bled into the whole grip aspect as well.
Sure.
The stippling on it was catching my hand at certain spots that the shield just wasn't.
Sure. So just eyeing it right here, I see on the top side, your sights here, you have the 3-dot sights.
Yep.
How has that stacked up to other things you were researching?
Pretty great, actually. I really do like the Glock sights, though.
Okay.
I do. Just from what I've seen, it's just, I don't know, the way my eyes are. They kind of like line up with that U shape in the back.
Sure.
Just a lot better.
You're talking about the solid back sights without the white without the white dots,
Right.
or like night sights, or okay.
Exactly. So this just came with the regular 3-dot white sights, and what I've seen so far is that they're not night sights by any means, but I can still see them pretty well in the dark.
Sure.
I like that a lot, and getting this for home defense, that was something that was pretty important to me.
Okay. So I'm sure too, like, I'm sure you'd be able to replace them aftermarket with tritium sights or night sights or whatever have you. I'm Smith and Wesson. I'm sure there's a huge aftermarket for parts, right?
Yes, there definitely is. And, even on their website, when you go to like research, let's say the M&P M9 M2.0,
Right.
you're going to get like 16 versions,
Right.
even if you put full size. That's it. And they have they have optics ready. They have performance center,
You're California compliant.
Massachusetts compliant, all of that stuff. So you can definitely find the one that's right for you.
Okay.
One of the things that I was kind of didn't know I needed before I needed it, is that if you look, the slide is not milled for any sort of like red dots.
Sure.
There's no rail on the top at all. And, having this for home defense, I could probably really use something like that. So I might get it milled, see if I can get a red dot on there.
Well, I know they also make sight plates too that would just slide into this dovetail that you have right here for your rear sights, and it would just be a plate on the top that would literally set over your slide. That would probably be something to research into as well.
Definitely. I was told that, it just was not an option for me.
Really?
So, I mean, if it is, I'll definitely look into it. That's pretty cool.
If you guys have any comments or aftermarket accessories that you'd like to see on this gun, please drop us a line. Let us know what there is out there. If you personally own this gun and you found some accessories or sight plates that work well with it, we'd love to hear your viewpoint on it and maybe try it out for ourselves. So be sure to hit those messages.
Very much so.
Now, Kyle, I wanted to flash back real quick. I was talking about the size difference between you and your wife.
Yeah.
I'm sure her hand is like half the size of yours, right?
About, yeah.
Okay, so what about this gun makes it so accessible to both of you?
Okay, so one of the things that I really like about it, and I'll show you, is that it comes with these palm swells.
Okay.
So what that does is it changes the size and the thickness of the grip.
Oh, wow.
Now, I just pulled this tool right out of the bottom.
Oh, that was sneaky.
Yeah, exactly.
A sneaky set.
So you can kind of see it right there. You just give it a little twist.
Wow.
It pulls right out.
You never notice.
That's right. So they call it the takedown tool.
Okay.
So you could use it for a couple of different things. But the thing you mainly use it for is you just poke on the inside and the palm swell comes right out.
Wow.
So it comes with small, medium, large, and large. Her and I both kind of decided on the medium. We said it was a good compromise. I like the larger ones. And even on the larger ones, it's got this nice dovetail that comes up.
Sure.
That the stippling continues.
Oh, wow.
So you kind of get it up here on your hand, which is really nice.
That's cool. So it seats a little bit better in the grip.
That it does. But the medium is definitely good for both her and I.
Now, one other thing I noticed on the back of your slide there, you have this really cool textured like fishtail a stipling or like a grip milled into the slide. Now that's actually one of the more aggressive ones I've seen, where it's actually layered for some surface area.
It is definitely.
Does it like cock back well in your hand?
It really does. And that's actually one of the first problems that I had with this.
Okay.
Was when I'd take it to the range, I have it loaded and I'd be ready to go, and I'd go ahead and I'd put one in the chamber. This was my fault. This was not the gun's fault at all.
Sure.
Okay, so I would pull it back, and then I would push it forward. I would kind of ease it forward, and then I would get ready to go. And the back wasn't going all the way forward.
Oh, it wasn't setting flush.
Because I was babying it.
Okay.
And so it wasn't firing.
Sure.
It won't fire if that's not all the way forward.
Right. I'm sure that's a safety precaution.
Right.
Well thought out, Smith & Wesson.
Very much so. Since then, I've gotten a lot more comfortable in trusting the recoil spring to do its job and getting it back and ready to fire.
Sure. So this is a striker fired pistol, yeah?
That's right.
Okay. So takedown is very similar?
Very similar. And you can see that right now in the video below. It's super simple to take apart. Polymer body, and it's got the only steel on it is going to be on the slide and the magazine, which balance it out really well, actually.
Sure. Did you get an opportunity to try the 40 version of it, or?
No, they didn't have one of those. I asked, they kind of smiled a little bit and laughed. I was like, come on, guys. I mean, it is a popular caliber. Don't pretend like it isn't.
I mean, it's preferred by a lot of people that I know.
Yeah.
Have you had any malfunctions or misfires at all with it?
I haven't had a single malfunction or misfire with it.
And you said about 1,000 rounds?
Just about. Hopefully by next week I'll hit the 1,000-round mark.
I think we can make that happen.
Probably. And, maybe we'll take them along for the ride too. Because why not? As for any sort of accessories, it does have the standard Picatinny rail here on the bottom. I'm thinking about getting like a combination laser / flashlight.
Yeah, sure. You don't want to turn all the house lights on to go, make sure that your robber is aware before you chase him out of your property.
Right.
Start flicking on all these lights and be like, oh, I guess I better get out of here.
Get somewhere towards a lamp so I can see you.
Yeah.
No.
No.
The biggest thing with me for this was the confidence. I want to have confidence in my firearm when I'm using it for a home defense kind of situation.
Sure.
I want to be confident that it's going to function, absolutely no problem. It's going to hit where I want it to hit. And one of the things that I've been practicing a lot is at the range is just kind of switching up between body shot and head shot. Just 5 rounds at a time.
Sure.
And just kind of getting used to that, because I really don't want to be scared and unsure about what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, if somebody does break in, heaven forbid, I need to be at 100%.
Right.
I need to feel confident with this in my hand, and I need to know what I'm doing. I'm going to be scared because that's just how that you are in that situation. You can't help that.
Yeah.
So how is this going to help mitigate it? It's going to help mitigate it with that really nice grip on it and with muscle memory.
Right.
The more you go to the range and the more you try it out, the more confident you're going to be.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that. They just will purchase the gun and leave it in a closet somewhere on the off chance that they might use it. And then when something like that happens, God forbid, they're sitting there struggling with an unopened pack of ammo, trying to load a fresh magazine whose spring hasn't been compressed because they haven't taken it to the range. They're going to be pointing and their hands are going to be shaking and they're not going to be able to find their sight picture.
That's how accidents happen.
Yeah, that's exactly how accidents happen. So definitely recommend. If you were part of this rush for the coronavirus, you got your first gun during this time and have not taken it out to the range yet, I absolutely stress the importance of that. Getting your muscle memory right and correct to the point that when that situation does happen, your body will know how to respond without you having to direct it. And that's really, really where you want to be.
Very, very true. Get as much practice as you can. I mean, we're lucky enough to live in a state where it's actually in the state constitution that the governor cannot close down a firearms store or range.
That's awesome.
So
God bless America.
Yeah, one of the only places it's been open, but we definitely have gotten our use out of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, is there anything this firearm has taught you?
Just a little bit. I mean, one of the things that I really had to concentrate on at the beginning, because this was my first handgun,
Right.
is I really found myself jerking that trigger.
Oh, okay.
I was. So I was really tensing up and preparing for the recoil.
For that boom.
Exactly. I was so afraid it was going to fly out of my hands. I was gripping it so tightly, and when I pulled the trigger, I was really just jerking it back. And what I've really trained myself to do in the last month or so is to really just squeeze back, feel that reset after you let off the trigger, after it's fired, and just kind of live right there.
So that whole control of the firearm, you saying, is it starts with the trigger itself, yeah?
Yes. Squeeze the trigger, don't pull the trigger.
Wise words. Mm-hmm. Now, is this the only edition it comes in? I know we had mentioned a 40 caliber. What
Right.
kind of finish do you have on there?
So they got a 9mm, a 45, and a 40.
Oh, okay.
And all of those come in compact, subcompact, and full size.
Oh, okay. And all in this black finish here?
They have that, and they also have your favorite, the Desert Coyote.
So, Kyle, all that being said, why did you choose this specific firearm?
Well, I mean, something that you said last week really kind of like stuck with me a little bit. You said that you did the color fill on yours.
Yeah.
That like baby blue.
Right.
And, that was kind of a reflection of you. And a lot of that went into my decision making for this particular firearm.
Okay.
Smith & Wesson came out with their M&P line, let me see, back in 2005.
Oh, wow.
So they've had it since then. This is the M2.0 line, which they came out in 2017. But what the M&P is military and police.
Okay.
Now, I was born into a very proud military family. So the military has always had a very close spot near my heart for most of my life. And definitely with everything that it was going on this summer, something that if it was built for the police, it's probably good for me. I really have a lot of respect for the police and the kind of stuff that they deal with on a regular basis. That, I wanted to get something that reflected that.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a sound decision to me.
Highly recommend it to anybody who is watching at home. The Smith & Wesson M&P M2.0. Welcome back to the Freedom Hub. This week we are reviewing Aberlour 12 Single Malt Scotch Whiskey.
Ooh, Kyle, you brought in a scotch?
Yes, I did. It's Christmas.
Yeah, what better reason to celebrate?
Exactly. So you can see it here, Aberlour 12. Oh, yep, that is definitely, once again, mostly an empty bottle.
Looks like it's been well enjoyed.
It really has. It really has. It is absolutely delicious. I recommend it to anybody who's getting new to Scotch, wants something that's a little bit more friendly than some of the other more peaty, smoky Scotches out there. But I mean, that's your thing. That's your thing. As for me, this was my entry into Scotch, and I haven't looked back. This is so good.
Well, I'm glad you got to share it with us today, Kyle. What can you tell me about her?
So it's a single. So it is a single malt Scotch whiskey, which means it's made from a single mash of malted barley in a single distillery in Scotland, aged in used American bourbon barrels.
And that's the only place that'll make it, is in Scotland there?
That is the only place where you're allowed to call it Scotch. So a lot of Japanese companies went over to Scotland within the last century and kind of studied what they were doing.
Sure.
And they're just like, oh, we can do that. We have a very similar climate to Scotland. We can totally make this work. And they did it. And it is referred to as Japanese whiskey
Oh.
because they can't call it Scotch. Some of it is really, really good, and we'll definitely get to that on a later episode. But Scotch, all Scotch, is from Scotland.
Wow. I guess I never put that together. That seems kind of in my face now that I'm thinking about it.
It's cool. It's cool. So a lot of the different distilleries that make Scotch in Scotland, the type of Scotch that comes out of it is going to be very specific to that region. So I mentioned really smoky Scotches before.
Sure.
Just about all of those come from the Islay region.
Okay.
So if you see something that says an Islay Scotch, that means that the grain has been smoked with smoked peat moss.
Okay. Okay.
And that's where it gets that signature flavor. Aberlour 12 is from the Speyside region.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that they do with Speyside Scotches is, yes, they are aged in American bourbon barrels, but they are also finished in either sherry casks or used wine casks from France.
Wow.
So it gives it that real nice, sweet, smooth finish.
Wow. So now something I noticed about it, just like took 2 seconds to look at the front of the bottle here, and we have this little emblem right there on the front. It says 12 years old. I don't know if the camera can catch that or not, but just take my word for it. 12 years old.
That's
is
right.
that something that is common within scotches?
Very much so.
Okay.
So I think like the smallest amount of time you're going to see an age statement on Scotch is going to be about 8 or 10 years. You're going to see 10 year a little bit more than you will 8.
So it's really a labor of love.
It really is. I mean, it takes quite a long time, obviously. But you'll also see typically the higher up the year goes on it, the higher you're going to see the price. Now, one thing that I was told, that it doesn't necessarily mean that if you like the 12, you're going to love the 16.
Okay.
It's a completely different animal.
Okay. Okay.
It really is. It costs more because it costs more to produce because it takes longer.
Now, can you imagine deciding to start your Scotch empire and then you like create your first few barrels and stuff like that? It's like, cool. Now I just got to wait 12 years.
Yep. That's all.
That's it. Just a quick 12 years of investment. It'll all pay off in the end.
Exactly. Let me give you a little bit of history about the Aberlour Distillery.
Okay.
So they were founded in 1879, and they're currently owned by Chivas Brothers.
Not familiar with those.
So you might have seen it at the store or seen it like on the top shelf over at your local bar. You see like Chivas Regal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's them.
Oh, wow.
They own a bunch of different things. They, of course, own Chivas. They own Ballantine, the Glenlivet. They own Royal Salute, Secret Speyside, Scapa, 100 Pipers, and Clan Campbell. That's all them.
Wow.
And Aberlour. So I really, really like this Aberlour. I was kind of afraid of scotches for a long time, just being honest. My father drank scotch when I was growing up. And every now and then, I'd try some at a party when I was in college. And just about everyone that I tried, I kind of realized was an Islay Scotch.
Okay.
And me being kind of new to like high quality, straight whiskey.
Sure.
It was a little harsh for me, just being honest. And so I kind of stayed away from it. And I got a recommendation from a good friend of mine to give this a try. And I did. And oh my gosh.
And that's my my experience with Scotch has just been by word of mouth, and almost every single person that I've talked to is like, "Oh, Scotch is what men drink. This is the man drink right here.
Yes.
Whiskey is for women. This is men right here." That's all I ever hear about it. So if I don't sprout a couple new chest hairs, then it's a loss.
Fair enough. So pick up the bottle again, put it up to the light. Tell me what kind of colors you're seeing. I'll get the glasses.
Sure. So like last week we reviewed the Buffalo Trace, and this would seem It's very, very red, almost brown. Um, Not quite as well. It's actually a little bit clearer than the Buffalo Trace. Almost seems more opaque.
I would say so. I actually have a bottle of the Buffalo here. I try to keep it close by.
Oh, okay. Can we see them side by side? Sure. Cool, cool, cool. Oh man, yeah. So definitely much, much lighter than the Buffalo itself. Noticing more caramely, just very, very light coloration to it. Buffalo Trace is a lot. That's like a deep red.
It is
really.
a deep red, definitely.
So this is more. I would say this is kind of what my standard whiskey looks like as I'm pouring it out here.
I would say so. It's definitely still has that reddish color to it.
It's so clear though.
It is. I would put it like you said the Buffalo Trace kind of looked like that dark amber.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
from like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
This particular one, I would say like a lighter colored amber.
Okay.
So maybe like caramel.
Yeah, it's a good few shades though. Absolutely.
But there's definitely some flecks of red.
Okay.
So let's pour a little bit and see how it smells.
This is my favorite part right here.
Oh yeah. Merry Christmas to us.
If you guys don't have a job where you can drink while you're doing it wrong.
It's very, very true. And while I'm pouring this, make sure you go ahead and like this video if you like what you're seeing. Comment down below.
Even if you're a fan of Scotch and you've had some Aberlour before and you're completely in agreement with what we're saying, please drop a like. We'd love to hear that we are not alone out there.
That's right. Make sure to hit that notification bell and let freedom ring. All right. So, special occasion. Now, when you breathe in, make sure you breathe in through the mouth and the nose at the same time. You'll get a lot more.
Oh my goodness. So this is like compared to our Kentucky Straight, this is definitely it's a lot more subtle. It's
It
not
is.
so in your face.
That's right. And I think a big part of that, yeah, it's the lower proof. So the Buffalo Trace was 90 proof.
Sure.
This is 80.
Okay.
So you don't have that harsh alcohol burn hitting you right in the face.
Yeah, so even when I sniff it, when I smell the actual texture of it, it's more of like an aromatic bouquet of flavors that you can actually distinguish more than it is being like steamrolled over by the harshness of the alcohol content.
Very true.
It's definitely got a lot more fullness to it.
Right. And one of the things that I'm kind of getting is I don't know. Does it seem thicker to you? It seems a little bit thicker to me, almost like melted butter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, now that you pointed it out, yeah, that's all I can
Kind of
see.
see that. And it's like when you change the angle of the glass, like how long it takes to roll down the side of the glass.
No.
It's a little bit thicker. It's kind of giving me like that really rich taste to it.
Now, what does Aberlour say that we're tasting here or we're smelling?
So they say it's very soft on the nose, not harsh, with fruity notes of red apple.
Ooh, that's what that is.
I'm kind of getting that too.
Yeah, kind of that crisp.
All right, I can't stand it anymore. I gotta try it.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Well, that's going to hurt for a second. It's not aggressive though.
No,
It's really not. I'm just a big baby. It's smooth. The taste is there. It doesn't feel like it's being, dominated by the actual whiskey the alcohol itself. Mm-hmm. It's there's definitely two very different parts there. Your flavor and aromas, and then your alcoholic burn.
very true. Have you ever had like a really high quality piece of bread from like a bakery?
Sure.
Like comes out of the oven still hot.
Yeah.
So what this is kind of taking me to is like a really sweet piece of spice cake. not overly sweet, but with a little bit of butter on the top.
Okay.
So it's rich. It's got some spices. I got some nutmeg, a little bit of brown sugar, and clove.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out for the life of me what this would taste really, really good with. And blame the Christmas season here, but I have been drinking a crap ton of eggnog here lately. And this would be so good in an eggnog. I actually just recently found a pumpkin eggnog.
Oh, wow.
It is to die for. And this would go in it amazingly. In fact, you don't need this bottle, right? I'll just take it home after the show. All right, that's not going to be happening. Hey, guys, leave it down below if you want Kyle to give me the bottle for take it home.
Yep, good luck with that, guys. I do welcome you to try.
Well, let's vote him out.
Fair enough. So, like I said before,
Sure.
this is aged in used American bourbon barrels.
Okay.
So, with bourbon, they're only allowed to use new white oak barrels
Okay.
that they usually make on site. But once Wild Turkey, Buffalo Trace, Jim Beam, once they're done with that, they can't do anything with them anymore. You can't do another batch of bourbon through them. So they sell them to all the different Scotch distilleries. And so all the best Scotch in the world, it's because of us.
America's number one.
That's right. A little bit of America in every drop.
So just those pre-used barrels, it adds to this flavor.
It definitely does.
Is that what we're getting here?
There's a lot of that. And then there's a lot of it being finished when it finishes the aging process in those sherry casks, in those wine casks.
Oh, okay. So that's probably that little aromatic bouquet I'm getting there is from.
Probably. It's like a little bit of port wine.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely delicious. Highly recommend. And for those of you who would be new to Scotch, I can't recommend anything more. And that's my Christmas present to you. It's telling you to go out, get yourself a bottle of Aberlour 12, and just have a really Merry Christmas with it.
I am definitely the amateur whiskey Scotch drinker here. And I will tell you right now, this is incredibly smooth. It would definitely be one that, as a, let's say a novice drinker, should we say alcoholic?
I'll speak all the kids out there and just say noob.
There you go. There you go. So if you guys are a noob as far as these dark liquors go, incredibly easy to go down. You can mix it with it, but honestly, I feel like that would just destroy the flavors that are already in it. It would be great over some rocks. Maybe add a little spritz of water or something there just to calm her down.
Open it up a bit.
Oh, man. That would be amazing.
That's true. And another cool thing about it also is it's not going to break the bank.
No?
You typically find it for between 45 and 55.
Wow.
Depending on where you go.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of scotches that kind of live up there around the $80 range. And Aberlour does get that with their higher age statements and their cast strength release as well. But Aberlour 12, pretty much anywhere I've gone, between 45 55.
Kyle, I really appreciate you bringing this one in today. This was an absolute joy to enjoy.
You know what? Even much to the point that I'm going to put it right back here in the wreath.
That way you guys can all look at it and remember what to drink this holiday season from the Freedom Hub.
That's right.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Freedom Hub. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking about political correctness and how this has affected our society. We're going to be talking about Merry Christmas at the most basic of it. We've definitely kind of been hinting at it at the beginning of this episode, and how taboo it seems to be these days to say Christmas.
Very true.
And, Kyle, what are your thoughts here?
So let's just start off with the basic Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
So I know there was a big movement right around the beginning of the Obama administration, surprisingly enough, where it was just like, okay, you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. You have to say Happy Holidays because you got to be all inclusive. And it kind of got me thinking. It's just like, all right, well, then it makes sense to a point, but I mean, I don't celebrate a lot of those other holidays. And what I'm feeling right now, and the spirit that I'm in, and everything that I've learned that this season is since I was a kid, is Christmas, and that's what I associate with it. Now, a lot of people can go back and forth, and you get some really hardcore religious people out there who say this is the birth of Christ. This is like the biggest thing for us. And so when I wish you a Merry Christmas, it's like I am thankful to be celebrating the birth of our Savior, and I'm going to share that with you.
Yeah.
And that that's fine. That's absolutely great. It's not you need to be celebrating this as well.
No, if you want to get all Karen and literal with it, then sure.
Sure. But one of the things that I've kind of seen is like the whole Santa Claus aspect of it. The Santa Claus aspect of saying Merry Christmas is you're celebrating the season. You're celebrating a season of giving and everything that the holiday stands for aside from the literal Christ Mass.
Right. Right. And it's funny because, I mean, like right around when that became a popular thing, and everyone's like, oh, happy holidays. I was working retail at the time. Way back in the day, just a little bag boy at a grocery store kind of a deal. And I saw scores and scores of people every single day, especially during the holiday season. And it was my reaction. It was my, what's the word? My reflex.
Yeah, you're like automatic.
Yeah. My automatic like go-to phrase is have a Merry Christmas. That's what I wanted to wish to people. It's not really that I wanted to wish it to it, but it's the standard holiday greeting. It is the holiday, is Christmas Day. When I wish you a Merry Christmas, that's because I want your Christmas to be merry. It's very, very straightforward. And then everyone hit me with the, oh, no. It's happy holidays.
So a question for you. Did you get that more from like your fellow employees, your boss, or was it the customers?
No, the randoms, the random people walking through.
Customers.
My boss doesn't care. My coworkers don't care. When you know someone on a personal level and you know that they don't mean anything by it and they are just simply wishing you a Merry Christmas,
Right.
there's no reason to be offended by it.
Exactly.
And honestly, if someone's wishing you merry anything, there's no reason to be offended by it, period. I don't care if you prefer happy holiday. It's not a reason to be offended. If I was to be, hey, I really hope your Christmas sucks. Cool. Get offended by that. I am wishing you poorly, But, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas as just a standard greeting. You just move on and accept it, right?
Very much so. And you got to think about it. Like a lot of people are saying that you're assuming that the person that you're talking to is a Christian, and that's wrong.
Right.
And it's like, well, I'm not really doing that. I don't think anybody consciously does that. I think it would be more singling out somebody if I happen to know that you were Jewish, and once Hanukkah started, I made sure to come up to you and be like, Happy Hanukkah. Because I'm not really making an issue out of it. One thing that I saw in the retail industry when, everybody came down and said, okay, you got to say happy holidays. You have to be inclusive. That's the way it's got to be. More and more customers, when you say, have a happy holiday, they lean in and it's like, Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Say Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, okay, that's cool. And that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying happy holidays to somebody.
No.
But I think there is something wrong with being afraid to say Merry Christmas to somebody.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it does work both ways. So, I mean, if you're going to be offended about someone saying Merry Christmas, or you're the one that gets offended because someone didn't say Merry Christmas to you, like,
Right.
At what point does this end, honestly?
Exactly.
And when all this came out, that was exactly my thoughts. At which point will this end? We flash forward, 12 years later? Mm-hmm. Flash forward 12 years later, and we have a slew of social problems within our society.
Exactly. And so many things have happened, especially this year, sparked by the George Floyd death. And everybody getting out there and protesting because it's not like they had a job to go back to.
Exactly. When you have that much free time on your hand, there's a lot to complain about.
That's very, very, very true. So the Washington Redskins finally succumbed to apparent public pressure
Right.
and decided to drop the Redskins name.
Yeah.
They also dropped the logo,
Yeah.
which was just an Indian chief with feathers, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy, man.
they had been under fire for years. Every now and then, you'd hear about some liberal woke person
Sure.
who was just like, I think this is terrible.
Right.
We should not be doing this. Redskins, are you kidding me?
Right.
It's 2016. What's wrong with you? And so they decided to, do a couple polls, and they polled Native Americans
To see how they responded to the name itself?
right.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
just basically saying, hey, do you think this is offensive? Do you think the logo's offensive? Because, hey, we're not out here for that.
Gotta get opinion.
The team was founded in 1932, so like the people who chose the name. And even then, in 1932, it was the Boston Braves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't even Redskins.
Well, that's a heck of a move.
Right. Redskins came around 1937, about 5 years later, when they moved to Washington, D.C., which is their present home.
Okay.
So they were just like, hey, we have nothing to do with the people who named the team. Are you offended? And in 2004, a poll found that 90% of Native Americans were not offended by the name or the logo. And another poll replicated those results in 2016.
Wow. Wow.
So anytime some woke person was just like, that's racist, that's terrible, they would go out and they would ask, is it? They get a resounding, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But now, all season, they've been the Washington football team.
Well, speaking of sports then, Kyle, I mean, there's another sport that has a culturally inappropriate title in Ohio, the Cleveland Indians.
Yes, the Indians. Do you remember when you were a kid and you were playing cowboy and Indians?
Yeah, I do indeed.
That's right.
I do.
You do the first Thanksgiving play in elementary school with the Pilgrims and the Indians. We'd always make the construction paper headdresses.
Oh, yeah, the
And
little
that's
band.
about
and
it,
the
yeah.
fucking- yeah.
So we grew up playing cowboys and Indians.
Right.
And we grew up doing the first Thanksgiving plays with the Pilgrims and the Indians. Pilgrims were starting their settlements and they were not going to make it through the winter.
Oh, yeah?
They just weren't. And then the Indians came over and they helped them out with food. They showed them how to grow corn. They introduced them to turkey and a bunch of other stuff. And that's why we have this Thanksgiving staples with our Thanksgiving dinner. But, I always liked that because the main point of it was we are stronger together than we are separate.
Sure.
And we can always learn things from one another and benefit each other. And I think that's really, really great. But we always called them Indians growing up. The word was in our textbook and everywhere else in culture. Talking about the Cleveland Indians.
Now, most people would say that the term Indians comes from Chris Columbus, right? They say
Right.
he comes over, he accidentally landed in India, or no, he was trying to find a more direct route
Yes,
to India,
a western route to get to India.
and that was where he was convinced he was found. Now, I don't think that's truth, right?
It's not true at all, actually.
So where did it come from?
Christopher Columbus was actually a very accomplished mariner. And that is why he, being Italian, was actually hired by Queen Isabella of Spain to make the voyage, to find that western route to India, because the whole thing with the world being round was still kind of new. Columbus didn't discover it, but he was going to prove it. And so he set out to find that western route. And he landed on the island of Hispaniola,
Okay.
and he met the people there, and he called them Indians. And it's not because he thought he was in India. So I actually have it written down. Edward Abbey wrote, Columbus was so charmed by the people he found in the Caribbean, who were very sweet, happy, and blessed people, he called them Los Gentes en Dios, which translates to the people in God. He was probably trying to say the people of God, but he was Italian in Spanish, not so good.
Makes sense.
But Los Gentes en Dios. And the name Indios stuck and was changed by usage to the word Indians. That is why they are called Indians, because Los Gentes en Dios, the people in God.
Makes sense.
It was what they refer to as being high praise.
Right.
It's like, these people are great.
Yeah.
These people are wonderful. They're kind to each other. And it was awesome. And it was only on those voyages that Columbus went back to Spain with the gold, with the riches of the culture. The people that he left in charge, those were the people who were terrible to the indigenous peoples.
Right.
But the term Indians is what we're talking about now. We're not talking about the history of Columbus and how that history has been completely contorted by liberals. We're talking about Indians. There's nothing wrong with Indians. It is a very endearing term, I think.
Can be.
But that's how far political correctness has gone. We no longer have the Washington Redskins. We have the Washington football team. We no longer have the Cleveland Indians. We have the Cleveland baseball team. And we're all just trying to get it right. Watch out, Chicago Blackhawks, Florida State University Seminoles,
What point does it end, Kyle?
Atlanta Braves.
Like, what point does it end, though? I mean, if we're just going to go through and change every aspect of society as we know it to make it more politically correct, like, how much of our culture, how much of our tradition are we going to lose in the process?
I think we're going to save that for another episode because I could talk at length about
Keep
a
them
lot
coming
of
back
it.
for more.
Definitely. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week to the Freedom Hub. Once again, we always thank our first responders and all of our past and active military.
It's been so great spending this time with you guys. Please don't forget to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. Kyle's got that little bell button there for you so you can let freedom ring. We're going to see you next time.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.